whenever you're ready.
All right. Welcome everyone to the special meeting of the Resident Association Board of Directors on Monday, February 9th, 2026. I will dispense with any opening remarks and jump right to the approval of the agenda. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Abstaining. All right, that's unanimous of all in attendance. Thank you. Member comments?
If anyone is online this evening and would like to make a member comment, please raise your hand or send us a message in the chat. No hands raised.
Okay, then we will move right on to the next item, which is the volunteer interviews. Brittany, would you like to drive that?
Sure thing.
Thank you.
Looks like we have Mr. Thomas online tonight. Mr. Thomas, you've been asked to unmute.
Mr. Thomas, if you'd like to give the board a brief, introduction to yourself, we'd appreciate it.
I think he's still trying to get unmuted.
There we go. Now I'm allowed to unmute. Thank you. Thanks for convening a special meeting to talk with me. I heard from Richard Chu that you guys needed some help on the elections committee, and I have since talked with Margaret Perry about it as well. And having been on the board for about 4 years a while ago, I have some understanding of the scope and the processes involved, and so I am happy and willing to jump in and help out. So let me know how I can help.
Thank you. Does the board have any questions for Mr. Thomas?
Can you see me?
Mr. Farrell does.
Yes.
I cannot. Director
Mr. Farrell
Farrell.
has his hand raised.
Dr.
Thank
Farrell,
you.
go ahead.
Mr. Thomas, thank you for stepping forward on such short notice. It's well appreciated. You, in addition to being a former member of the RA Board of Directors, you were also at one time a candidate for public office. You're muted again. Can we unmute Mr. Thomas?
I think he may maybe be muting himself.
Well, I
Go ahead,
muted
sir.
myself for a moment because I don't like to just in case there's a noise here in my empty house. I don't like to. Anyway, I will stop muting myself, even though that's my reflex. Yes, I have been a candidate for public office.
And I think at one point I may have even made a contribution to one of your campaigns.
And it was much appreciated. And I actually consider that to be the only actual really election for a public office for which I've run. So you could say one of them. It was the only one. You are not the only person on this call who has contributed, but I appreciate all the support that I got when I ran unsuccessfully for school board.
Well, I only say that and ask the question as a matter of disclosure so that
Understood.
when I vote later, people won't say I have an undisclosed conflict of interest. Thank you, Mr. President.
Mr.
All
President,
right. Yes, sir.
I would just like to recall a moment in time when I first interviewed for becoming a member of the Environmental Advisory Committee, and Mr. Thomas was on the group that interviewed me. So we have sort of reversed positions.
The turns
Exactly.
they have tabled.
Right?
Yeah, time has a way of doing things.
Director Juszczyk.
Mr. Thomas, since you've run for public office before, I thought that you might want to tell us a little bit about how your run for public office might help inform some of the duties that you may have on the elections committee for RA.
Offhand, I'd say virtually not at all. Though I did run for successfully membership on the RA Board of Directors. And I'm currently on the RCC Board of Governors, as you well know, since you just saw me at a meeting at the community center. I mean, look, just from my experience having run for various offices at various levels, I have some empathy for the challenges, the tasks in front of any candidate. So I have certainly an understanding of that, having lived in Reston's most of the time since 1968. I have a more than usual understanding of the Reston context. Few people understand the intricacies of the and the roles of the various, as they sometimes call it, the alphabet soup in Reston, as well as I, just because I've had been fortunate enough to have so much experience with it all. But certainly, empathy for the candidates is one thing. Just sort of generally. I'm basically an educator who focuses on math and computer science. So when it comes to the data of everything and the technology involved, I am pretty well versed in that. I didn't use a whole lot of that when running in a way that would be relevant to this role, but I am comfortable with that stuff as well. So, but that's sort of my answer there. Is there anything that you were expecting that is different from that?
No, I thought since everyone was saying, that you've run for public office, we might try to bring it back to RA and the elections committee.
Got
That
it.
was my only
Got it. Okay.
motivation there.
Fair enough.
Director Farrell, I see you up for your second bite.
The RCC board on which you serve on, Mr. Thomas, that appointment is the product of a preference poll that some people choose to participate in. So actually you've done it more than once.
Yeah. And so thanks for giving me a platform to educate people in case anyone on this call doesn't already know this. So when I ran for school board, that was my first time running for public office, actually, because that's actually an election. RCC's Board of Governors is actually appointed by the Board of Supervisors. And so, but the MOU says that we run a preference poll to gauge the preferences of the people who live in tax district 5, and then that preference poll results goes to the Hunter Mill supervisor, and it helps to guide how he decides to advise the rest of the board of supervisors. So I'm actually an appointed person on the RTC Board of Governors, even though there was something that looked like an election to get me there. And yes, this is my third term on there. So I've been I've been the top vote getter 3 times in a row among various folks. But yeah, it's one of those little intricacies of RCC that is fun.
Any other questions from the board of directors?
Yeah, maybe one question here, if I could jump in. Mr. Thomas, again, thank you for stepping up and volunteering here. But just a quick question, given your kind of prior role with the board, relationships here in Reston, how will you ensure that the elections committee is seen as a neutral entity?
That's a good question. I certainly have some relationships with people, and I would have to probably disclose those very carefully and make sure and completely and make sure that people understand whatever connections exist. If there comes a time when there's an election going, and I think that I have a relationship with someone who was running that I think precludes the perception of impartiality, that I'll have to disclose that and let the board of directors decide what would be best. But I also hope that people will perceive that I am enough of a math teacher and a pedantic Director Farrell would have a colorful phrase that would follow that, but I'm not gonna say anything like that. I want to be professional here, but that people would sort of perceive me as being perhaps excessively pedantic enough that I would be fair regardless of whatever relationships I do or don't have with people who are or are not running for office.
Very good, thank you.
And I know I hit it in there, but just to be clear, this isn't about a conflict of interest. It is about perceived bias. So that perception of bias is something that I might not necessarily be totally tuned into, and I would have to rely on you all to say, oh yeah, there's a perception that your relationship with whomever is going to create a problem, and so I would have to figure out how and whether to recuse myself from some or all of the duties, specifically relevant to wherever I have a bias perceived.
All right, I'm scrolling through the screen and I don't see any further hands. So I am going to take that as no more questions coming from the board. Mr. Thomas, I appreciate you making yourself available to us. We will notify you when we're done. I don't expect this to take long, but I still don't want to waste your time.
I appreciate that. Thanks for your consideration. Let me know how I can help. And by the way, just thank you to Jennifer and Peter for showing up to the RCC meeting that we just had. I know I've already changed. Yes, that's how close I live to RCC. I got home, changed. I'm in sweatpants. I am all set. But I appreciate you all showing up to sort of, have that be part of that conversation. I really appreciate it.
Outstanding.
Peace, everyone.
And on that note, I think we need a motion to go into executive session.
Mr. President, I move that the RA Board of Directors convene an executive session to discuss personnel matters.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Unless there's objection, I'm just going to take that as unanimous. We'll see you on the other side.
I think that our president might have hit the leave meeting button instead of the leave room button. So I might suggest we give him a minute to rejoin. And oh, I think Mr. Flashman probably did the same thing.
I just moved Travis out of the breakout room manually.
Thank you so much.
Mr. President, you need to unmute yourself.
I did. Thank you for the rescue, Margaret.
Mr. President, I move that the Board of Directors of Wrestling Association certify to the best of each member's recollection that only matters appropriate for executive session of a personnel nature were discussed in executive session.
Is there a second? Motion made in second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, unanimous.
Mr. President, I move that Paul Thomas be appointed to the Elections Committee.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
May I speak
Aye.
on that, please?
Yes, I'm sorry because we should have done that before we took the vote. Director Perry.
I just want to make it clear, I am a candidate running for office. I am running for the apartment owners representative. So I just want to make that clear prior to voting so that there's no concern with how I do or do not vote in this matter.
I appreciate that. Thank you, Director Perry.
And Mr. President, I am also running for office, and I intend to vote to appoint Mr. Thomas to the Elections Committee.
I appreciate that, Director Farrell. All right, back to the voting. All in favor?
Aye.
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 I've got that registered for everyone except for Director Mullinex.
I'm an aye, yes.
Thank you very
vote.
much.
I did not vote.
Thank you very much. That is 8 against and
You mean-
abstaining.
Abstaining,
801.
only due to my election run. Thank you.
I appreciate that, Director Perry. And with that, we are done with the business of the meeting. And I am adjourning this briefest meeting I've ever chaired. So